Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at Spider-Ham, the good, the bad, the unique bits, and we're going to take a look at his best matchups, rotations, and so forth. So first of all, let's just describe the champion relatively briefly. The good, he has a very high damage output, especially in short, medium level fights, but also in long fights if you are able to keep on top of things. Then obviously with the AI being as it is, having access to frequent taunts and AI manipulation is a great thing in today's game that does help him tremendously. The fact that majority of his damage are coming from power stings, which effectively nobody's really immune to, that does help him out a lot. He does not have to, worry about somebody being immune to his particular type of damage over time effect or something like that. And also the fact that these are not damage over time effects, more often than not, are quite helpful. Another cool thing about him is absolutely reliable evade that you can kind of use in a similar manner than you would with Silk, for instance. Degen resistance and special damage reduction is becoming more relevant as well, especially in combination with Inequity and Taunt. He can effectively block and take specials to the face better than pretty much any other champion to the face. He has a perfect synergy with Ant-Man Relic, which is the Power Sting Relic, which obviously increases the duration of Power Stings, lets him access more of them, and just overall is tremendously helpful for his gameplay and makes him much more easy to play. The bad is coming from the small health pool, the fact that regardless of what anybody says, he's still RNG reliant in the way he does apply the Power Stings and whether they reapply themselves when opponents throw special attacks. Yes, there are bits of control that you can do to help yourself, but RNG can still screw you sometimes. And we have the fact that he does prefer parry matchups, or more specifically when opponent is stunned from parry mastery, because you have higher chance of applying your power stings and thus ramping up quicker. Entirely reliant on debuffs, because his base damage isn't anything impressive. And well, if you do want to get the best of him, there will be quite a bit of timer watching with the duration of your power stings, with the cooldown of your evade, with the nonsense charges, so on and so forth. Some unique things about him and his power stings in particular. His power sting potency scales with opponent's power and how many power bars they use. So not a lot of people know this, but you can get out a lot more damage if you push opponents to level 2, for instance. And also the fact that level 1 pauses his power stings indefinitely. So that is the moment that you can strategically use to push opponent to 2 bars of power, or specifically stall the fight in order to get more nonsense charges and have more of your power stings reapply. So now that we have gotten the introductory bit there, whoops, I need to take off some of these things, not to worry. Let's take a look at him. Well, first of all, let's take a look at him against Winter Soldier, which is a class disadvantage matchup, of course. But still, we are going to get the gist of using him. So we are using the Ant-Man Relic for my 7-star rank 2. Again, you do want to ideally do parry, medium, light, mediums with him in most of the matchups. And then you can see that I activate my level 1 to pause the power stings, and they are paused until the Winter Soldier throws special 1. Now, here is a good example of Realm of Legends AI being absolutely brain dead, because I activated my level 1, held my block up, and he just chose to throw the special, which kind of screwed me over. I would be significantly faster if he didn't do that. But we can still utilize the level 1 to rebuild the power stings, push him to 2 bars of power, then get the benefit from the auto evade, reapply the stun, and you guys are going to see me go for another level 1 here instead of level 2. Level 2 is misleading in most fights, where you do not really want to use level 2 at all. You kind of want to work around your level 1 for most part. Because that pause on the power stings is like super important. As you can see, it enables me to keep a very good chunk of power stings on him at all times. And then it also gives me a space to breathe in order to be applied, to push him to 2 bars of power, to apply more power stings, and just, deal with him in general. And there we go. This is more or less how you would ideally play the Spider-Ham 115 with class disadvantage. And, he did a great job there. So we have a few fights that we have rushed ahead of, I believe. Now, you can obviously play power Spider-Ham also like super mega aggressive, and this is going to be what I do, but there is a method to his madness in a sense. We can see that in this fight where I'm continuously letting CMM throw her level 1s, and it can be fine, but here I'm going to go for level 2, and you guys are going to see I have 4 power stings. I activate my level 2, and in most cases, this time I got lucky, in most cases the initial 4 power stings would actually expire before the opponent ends up throwing the special attack. But there are benefits to playing him completely aggro at times, but still, you do want to abide by the idea of pushing CMM to 2 bars of power, again, building up as many as you can. And here I got extremely unlucky because she activated the special attack when I had no nonsense charges, which is, again, one of the pitfalls that you can fall in. You do want to make sure that you have some of the nonsense charges whenever you do force opponent to throw a special attack, or when they throw the special attack. But this will still be, significantly quick, 102, because we didn't have the class disadvantage, even though this wasn't necessarily as technically sound fight to play. However, if you're taking a look at the longer health pools and Spider-Ham's true damage output, then here, I have synergized him up here with Magneto House of X pre-fight, a few of his own synergies, including Miles Morales, which resets my Spider Nonsense to 3 higher than it normally would, which will enable me to effectively get more of my power stings reapplied at any given time. And in long fights, as many of you will know, you do want to utilize the massive amount of power stings that you get from his level 3. So you want to effectively trigger 25 power stings, or power sting triggers 25 times. And then you want to drop your level 3, which will apply a ton of power stings and will skyrocket your damage output. And if you play it correctly, utilizing your level 1s, you will be able to maintain a very large amount of power stings for majority of the fight here. So we can see that this first bit of the fight, it's not going super fast. It's not going slow by any means, but it's not that fast. However, at this point, we already have 23 of the power stings per poppers popped, and I activate level 1, and after this I believe I will end up pushing to level 3, and already here is much juicier amount of damage. We are maintaining the 11 power stings, which is fine. 8 here because he did throw it with 8 nonsense active on us, and now the good things are about to start. So Star-Lord is at 70% health at a point when I am nearly 2 minutes in this fight. But I have 38 Porker's Poppers. And here I just need him to throw it. Here I got absolutely petrified that he won't throw it, but he did, thankfully, the very last minute. We got 30 of them still on him, and he's immediately down to 50% health. Now, again, bait out another level 2 with 10 nonsense charges active, so I reapplied majority of my power stings pretty much immediately. Go for a relic here. We'll push him to nice 2 bars of power back up again with 30 power stings, which he will throw. 24 get reapplied. And keep in mind, at 150 mark, nearly 2 minutes in this fight, he was still at 70% health, right? And right now, he's at 22% of the health. So here I am just going to casually push him to level 2 again. Still keeping all my power stings paused. And now he's at 8%. Right? And we still have 17 power stings active. We definitely did get the most out of that that level 3. And we can see that at the very end, he popped up for like 120k there. We do not see the biggest detonation here because each power sting is calculated separately, but it was a lot. And this fight was under 3 minutes. So under 3 minutes to do 3 million damage. But let's face it, that's not what gives Spider-Ham value. What gives Spider-Ham value is, number one, the fact that he nukes every Mystic Champion that we typically end up going up against, be that Kindred, be that Sasquatch, than anybody else. So here in this fight, I'm actually using a 4-star rank 3 against the 7-star rank 2. So there is a massive power gap. And that also, by the way, will explain the chip damage and the block damage that I'm taking, because it is significantly higher than I would ever normally take in any reasonable fight. Because obviously I'm using a very, very squishy 4-star against the 7-star with improved block penetration and all that other stuff. But that 7-star is starting to go down very, very, very quickly here. I have managed to build up to 12 poppers. And here I'm going to bait out a heavy, which I'm going to punish. We got 13 power stings, and look at that damage from the baby 4-star. So this is a definition of punching up like significantly. And this was done in 1 minute. So if we take a look at the matchup spreadsheet for Spider-Ham, we can see that not only he destroys virtually all of the meaningful Mystic matchups, he also has favorable matchups against virtually every other class, including skill in terms of Killmonger, most of the champions in Mutant class, most of the champions in Science class, most of the champions in Cosmic class, and plenty of the champions in Tech class. That is the exact thing that ultimately comes together to give this champion as much usability and value. We're going to see 4-star destroy, 6-star rank 4, 6-star rank 5, 7 stars in this clip. In very manageable fight times. And yes, again, the block damage is higher than it would normally be because of the difference in attack values, and you would not have to worry about as much of a block damage in any meaningful game modes like Alliance or Battlegrounds or anything like that. And I also do not have a striker here on my baby 4-star. If I had a striker on, many of these fights would be even quicker, and he can still do them. So again, he's able to do Thing, for instance, because his power stings do bypass the protection effectively. They don't bypass it, but they don't trigger it. So you do want to make sure that Thing does not have protection active when he would use his special attack. But look at that damage. That is a 6-star rank 4 Thing against a 4-star rank 3 Spider-Ham. And, just getting absolutely annihilated. And again, in all of these fights, I am trying to make sure that whenever I do bait out special attacks from my opponents, I have as many nonsense charges as possible, because that does determine what chance you have to reapply your power stings. The more nonsense, the better. And this is one of my favorite matchups that I kind of discovered recently. Initially, I thought that Spider-Ham has no chance against Killmongers, but I have since learned, through trial and error, that he absolutely destroys Killmonger matchup, because you can pretty much ignore the reverb damage in most fights, because you will be continuously baiting out the level 2s. And when you do so, he gains his indestructible charges, and when you hit him while he is indestructible, even if he has reverb active, it just doesn't do anything, right? So here we can see again, he continuously has his indestructible, and even if I do trigger that reverb damage, don't have much to worry about. And again, this is a 6-star rank 3 Killmonger, I think, against a 4-star rank 3 Spider-Ham, who's having a class disadvantage, by the way. And he's, managing this fight for sure. Look at that. The taunts, the power things, the application of all of them. So here, unfortunately, he threw the special a bit too early. Kind of would have wished him not to, because I didn't have any nonsense charges. But, it's fine. At this point, I don't have any power things active. So, again, could have done a bit better job managing this fight. But we're back up to 4. And we have Taunt on. And he's throwing the level 2s. And even though there is some willpower healing sneaking past, we are perfectly fine here. Again, could have managed this fight better, for sure, yes. But a 4-star little piggy taking down a Killmonger is just awesome. That's one of the matchups that I actually have enjoyed a lot recently. And then obviously, again, some of the marquee cosmic matchups that he can do include Hulkling as well, because even though I'm going to be the block damage here is insane. Again, the block damage would not be as bad normally, but check out how he absolutely violates the Hulkling. You do have to pay attention, similar to Thing fights, so he doesn't have the indestructible active when you do let him use special attacks. But if he is not indestructible at the time when you are, baiting out the special attacks, like it happened right now, he's going to be taking a ton of damage because of his increase in, power from his buffs. He gets access to special attacks quite frequently, and you can also, again, use your level 1 to pause these power things until, you want to get those specials out of him. And that is a maxed out 6-star Hulkling getting absolutely eaten alive by a little 4-star rank 3 piggy. And we have more, but wait, there's more. somebody like Iron Man, new buffed Iron Man, is considered to be like extremely tanky champion, for instance. You cannot properly crit against him. He will have like massive regen and all of that stuff. And again, just by the virtue of having access to power things and that being his primary source of damage, you will see this Iron Man getting absolutely destroyed by the little piggy. So I have 7 power things active here. And again, worth pointing out, the block damage is super exaggerated in these fights, as well as not having a striker has quite a big impact, because the Ant-Man relic does help my little piggy tremendously. And look at that damage. And you can use the auto weight to get rid of some of those matchups. There is a Bishop clip that I think I missed over somewhere. Let me try and find that. So here I make a little mistake at the end, but 1 second. Where is the Bishop clip? Oh, here we go. So this is, again, a perfect case use of his evade and him working phenomenally for this matchup. One of my favorite Bishop counters in the game, period, at the moment is Spider-Ham, because it's so safe. So effectively, use your level 1 to pause your power stings, push Bishop to 2 bars of power, and as soon as you do, you just auto-evade level 2. And then you do the same. You activate your level 1 in order to pause your power stings. And once they are paused, they remain paused until Bishop uses special. I will make a mistake somewhere in this fight and need a heavy attack, but here again, that gives us enough time for our evade to come off cooldown. We are again nearly at 1 bar of power. We are pausing the power stings, and we are baiting the heavy. Here I did get hit. I thought the spacing's fine, but it wasn't. But again, no rush. We are perfectly fine. We have 10 power stings active here. He doesn't really want to throw his special. If I had a relic on, this wouldn't be as much of an issue, because he probably would have had Taunt on. But that's fine. And now I am just going to push him to another, well, whichever special, to be honest. I'm going to pause my power stings. My auto evade is ready to evade that level 2, should I have to, but he's going to die before that. There we go. So Piggy has a crazy good matchup there. Now here I went up a bit of a power level, because this fight I'm not as confident and comfortable yet, but I do think it is important to point out that he is also a great future Ant-Man counter in general, because of the way he plays. Obviously here again, I didn't necessarily want him to use that special as quickly as he did, which didn't reapply any of my power stings, and I will make a mistake somewhere along the way by getting intercepted, I think. But we're fine. And yeah, Spider-Ham is a very, very solid fam counter, which, you know, is a problem these days too. And believe you me, if you are semi-comfortable with evading Onslaught's level 1, or in general, Spider-Ham is also a very, very good Onslaught counter. Didn't get that fight quite recorded yet, but yeah, he does that fight quite well. So, that is the reason why Spider-Ham's so awesome. Spider-Ham, out of the relevant defensive champion matchups, has one of the best, ratios. I think in Science Class, only Titania can technically do more fights than he can. He does, work better than Cassie, Human Torch, Mr. Negative, Mr. Fantastic, Morbius, and Overseer, and basically the same level-ish as Joe Fixit, slightly better. So yeah, Spider-Ham's up there in how many of the difficult and hard fights he takes. But he's not only up there with how many of them he takes, he's also up there with the speed. Like, you can outspeed an Archangel with a Spider-Ham in many cases, so on and so forth. So, that has been a Spider-Ham guide / showcase. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye! Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information